Okay, I've been waiting long on this video, months and months. It was going to cost a lot of energy to make it. But I knew this, but I can't ignore people reaching out and saying that they were inspired from seeing the first time I had done this gesture that's playing up over my right shoulder right here. So what you see is you see a gentleman in the mountains, dressed very similarly, burning papers. And what that was in 2020 or 2021, I had gone to the mountains and I had burned my bachelor's and master's in health and exercise science from Furman University, and I had burned my doctorate of chiropractic degree from Lake University as a gesture of metamorphosis that I was going through. But it was also, there was a deeper meaning that I was hoping would have inspired many others to follow suit as to the deeper message here. So let me just revisit that with 2025 version of me doing what I did here, because that was a huge moment and I fully stand behind it. And everything that I'd done personally and professionally from that moment on had improved even more so. But you reach these crossroads and you take action on it. And universe and body loves action. So let's see where this was coming from. So I was, 20 years into the field of performance and healing. I had 3 degrees under my belt. I was a doctor and was touching upon everything from injuries to symptoms to diagnostics to labels of any kind. I didn't label, I didn't diagnose, but it was giving people the opportunity to find that they are free within their own bodies and to go into things like relationships and beliefs and feelings and thoughts and values and traits and rest and nourishment and training and difference between physical activity and training, and going into these things and empowering them to do what they needed to do to put themselves in a position to understand their bodies. And I had gotten to the point where I was still doing chiropractic and I was still doing a method and a way of approaching, and I was like, it's got to get better. I have to do better. And what I looked on the wall as I was going through this for months, I was going through this, and I saw that I had the best frames for these degrees, and I had the best, position, and they were right up front. And I was like, they were like badges of honor, and I'm like, what do these even stand for? Nothing of what I used here do I use in my practice, really. Nothing. If anything, the chiropractic degree actually antagonizes the whole approach and message. And I was like, I need to get rid of these. This is crazy that these even mean anything. And so I'm not discounting the experiences. I'm not discounting everything we went through in life was for a reason. I chose it. I'm here. You learn from seeing what not to do just as much as seeing what's honest and true. So, but I couldn't stop feeling what I was feeling, and I will take action on it. If I didn't, my body would have told me otherwise. So I had burned my degrees, and in so doing, showing that I'm not bound by anything, that these don't put a person in a position to be able to sit across from another and take them through why their body would respond the way they did, especially in health and medicine, especially from specialty in health and medicine. And so I, at that same time, threw away all my chiropractic books, threw away all my notes, sold one of my tables, threw away the other one, threw away all my stuff, all the artwork and the propaganda on the walls. And I was just like, it's done. It's all done. I'm enhancing this thing even more. I'm breaking out of this whole thing. And from that point, how I approached guiding people improved immensely. And then what I started to see was that all what I had hoped from this video playing here, I had hoped that people would see what I had done and would at least think to then maybe follow suit, where we were going to burn down all of medicine, all specialties, all health coaching, all health anything, gyms, fitness centers, food approaches, diets, degrees, certifications, licensure, naturopathic, holistic, functional, integrative, Eastern, Western, German, Chinese, acupuncture, physical therapy, occupational therapy, all of it, all the degrees and all the licensure, because they're all starting from that same point. What's that? The body is wrong, the body is flawed, you don't feel good. We're going to test you and show you why you don't feel good, tell you a story that you need to be fixed, because we're going to fix these things about you. these natural, beautiful things called your symptoms and your injuries. We're going to treat them, we're going to cure them, we're going to fix them, and then we're going to get you to prevent them, and then we're going to get you to be afraid of them moving forward. And if you can't prevent them, there's something wrong with you, and we're going to keep doing that. It's just going to look all these different ways. And I had this feeling when I was in, it's 14 quarters of chiropractic school. In the third quarter, I was like, this doesn't feel right. And I remember sitting at a coffee shop. I'm like, I believe the body only heals, and I knew that to everything in my soul. I had thought that this was going to enhance it, and as I'm in here, I'm like, this is what this is? And I was like, oh my God. And I had a moment where I could go home, drop out, go home, but I had just left a home where my brother had passed away 2 weeks prior to me leaving for school. I didn't want to go back to the old way of doing what I had just come from. I kind of liked the whole Georgia area and being outside and the newness of it, but I didn't like what I was doing and what I was adding on. So then I literally I had convinced my body through my mind, listen, because my body's like, you don't want to be here. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to spin it in such a way that the doctor title before my name and the chiropractic approach and what I'm going to do is never going to be seen before. And so I stuck it out, got through the school, which anybody with a heartbeat and time can do, and lungs that clear can do. That goes for any medical school, by the way. And so then 7 years in practice, I was trying to spin the story. And to be totally honest, I liked the doctor title. The credibility that came with it made my voice, allowed the words that I was saying that I say now and I had said before, they were landing differently, which was intoxicating. But then I was like, this is fucking stupid. That somebody with 2 letters before their name will be trusted more than a person's scab or a person's heartbeat sitting next to somebody they don't trust at a dinner table. Like, wait, something's not right here. And so literally I was battling that while publishing a book, while going into all these things. And finally I got to the point where I needed the gesture. I needed to take action on this. My body was telling me as well. Close personal friends, I had confided in some people and let them know my concerns. And I was like, I gotta close shop. And I had gotten rid of the degrees. I had broken away from the licensure. I was broken away. I wasn't adjusting anymore. I had gotten rid of all the education, all the stuff. And then it came down to the point of evolution where I had to close my office, because this whole idea of a physical space, people need to go to a physical space because behind these walls, there's something here that you don't have. And it's not. Now I just have my words, my hands, my voice, my sitting across from somebody and taking them from wherever their starting point is. Doesn't matter what they're feeling, doesn't matter what they're labeled with, doesn't matter where they came from, doesn't matter what they are. Are they still alive? Are they still functioning? Done. You're alive, you're conscious, you want to do this? Done. That was the method, that was the tool, that was what that gesture was for me in my own life. And then what I was hoping it would ignite this fire, pun, to then spread everywhere, because I had forewarned back then that the scariest message being said now is this health conscious message of, instead of medications and big pharma, we're so pissed at surgeries, radiation, drugs, and Western medicine that we're going to swing over to this other way of salvation, because this ship is sinking, so let's swim over these waters to another ship that's sinking. And there isn't any form of medicine that can hold being able to sit across from somebody and them being able to understand their symptoms of healing and their injuries across the board. There isn't. They're all based on that same foundational approach that the body is wrong. A lymph is wrong, temperature change is wrong, a skin is wrong, everything in the blood is wrong, everything with the spine is wrong, everything in your hormones, in your digestive tract is wrong. It's flawed, it's attacking, your body's going to attack you at any time. You have to live this way, or you're going to cure this and prevent death and prevent this and increase longevity, expensive function, expensive understanding, and it's literally just salvation through bottle, salvation through adjustment, salvation through needle, salvation through IV, salvation through 2 letters in front of the name, a fuckload of letters after the name. And I didn't want to be affiliated with it anymore. That was the whole purpose behind this whole deal. So where am I standing now? Still this, gone, even more so, because I constantly challenge it every single day in my own life, in my own steps, in my own skin, in my own breath. to then see how I could go with breaking down an understanding so that anybody who feels trusting, feeling need to break it down, we can do it. And I'll even get people now who will send out an email just feeling out, hey, not sure, if we're a fit. I send my appointment menu, but I make a note to tell them. And I said, listen to me. You've never sent an email like this. Your body and the universe understand this action that you just took. You are changing right now, whether or not you continue with anybody. Right now, this step right here is so powerful. Whether I see you again or not, or ever talk to you again or not, take advantage, keep going on this, because you took an action you'd never done before, and you were scared, and you were apprehensive, and you had to admit some things, and you had to reach out to a person you never met before. You only know through the virtual world, or somebody else mentioned me or something like that, but I try to make note that it's those things, those changes that we can capitalize on for ourselves, actions, blind steps forward, because understanding healing is going to be on a path you've never been on before. It's never been formed. So there's no familiarity past the first step. And that is daunting, that is scary, and that's why you need undying trust with yourself, because if you don't trust yourself, and then you also don't trust what's past the second step, which is fine, that's guaranteed, then it's like, where the fuck, everything's just terrifying. And so that was the bigger picture behind this gesture here, where I'm burning pieces of paper. They don't mean anything really I could still burn these degrees and still have a license. It's a practice. It was just what they stood for, what they were badges, what they actually were badges of. And it's something I don't believe in at all anymore. And when you end up going into it even deeper, it isn't effective, doesn't make sense. It's the most unnatural thing. It's the most imprisoning thing. If we're talking about freedom, it is literally the most imprisoning thing that we could ever do to a person, is get them to not trust their bodies, themselves, to think that their bodies would ever sell them on that they would be attacked, take away their identity and put it into a diagnostic code, take away their identity, put it into a metrics or a test or some sort of a protocol, and then get them to believe that they're saved by something other than themselves. I couldn't be a part of that. So I will revisit this video in another 5 years, assuming I get there. And if I don't, I guarantee you I went out on a high note, which is what it's all about. It's not about longevity. That doesn't make any sense. It's about packing in as much as you can into each second with an understanding that you with you, not you versus you. Boom.